What's up, guys? Another episode of Off the Post, and we're sorry for the technical difficulties. Oh, we did try though. We'll give you that. So we'll jump right into it. We won't take much time. How are you doing today, Jen?
I'm so over technical difficulties I could scream.
No, I
But
know, I
other than
know.
that, it has been an okay day. Just
Okay.
There.
Technical difficulties. We definitely do hate them now. From this point on, we will always rue them. But
Yeah.
yeah, next time we'll see what it was. It's weird, man. It's freaking Google Hangouts. But Jen, we're gonna jump right into it, not to waste any time. We were just going to talk a little bit about the U.S. Women's National Team versus England, a game where I say we get to see two teams that a lot of us love to watch. So I guess we could talk about the starting 11 for the U.S. Women's National Team. What were your thoughts, Jen, with all the changes, and more changes?
It took me a while to digest it because I immediately went down and I saw Rose Lavelle starting. I'm like, yes, finally. She's been in and out of camps for the last year plus and had never even gotten on the field. So to see her get a cap and get a start was a very pleasant surprise. I'm not too surprised that there was a lot of rotation. England was considered to be the weakest opponent, so I think it makes sense that Ellis would want to put the players maybe that she doesn't see as her preferred starting 11. It makes sense that she would want to put them in this game to see how they do. So yeah, it was basically, I think it was Dunn, Lloyd, Lewis, and Sauerbrunn were the only ones who started both games. Everyone else was changed.
Yep.
So I thought it was good that she was getting rotation. I do like the back line that we saw in this game better than the one we saw from Germany, mostly because Ali Long was not starting on the back line because I think she sucks as a defender because, surprise, surprise, she's not one. So very pleased to not see her in the lineup. So yeah, I don't really have any complaints. Unlike some people, I'm not all over the moon when certain keepers start over the others. So that was like, okay, give her a chance, see what she can do. So I didn't really have any complaints when I first saw it.
No, I think I felt the same way. Like, it was more so like give people rotation, especially if this was supposed to be considered the weakest opponent. Plus, like you said, sometimes just the fact that, some players, this might be their only chance to shine. So why not give them a chance to go out there and take a little opportunity to see what they're about. If you're going to bring them in, might as well give them a chance to see what they're about. But let's jump right into the first half. All right. Comments, concerns, Jen. I know you have some.
I'll say that I said Rose Lavelle was the player caught my eye, and she definitely delivered. Very kind of shaky first few minutes. Understandable when you're in your international debut because as we all have seen and heard so many times, the speed of play at that level is much faster than at college. So she kind of with the nerves, I think she took a few minutes to get her feet under her. But once she did, I thought she was the best player on the field for both halves, and it definitely showed. It was just a really great overall performance. Maybe more so in the second half, but I don't have any complaints. I thought she did really well. I thought Sam Lewis from really the opening kickoff was much improved from Germany. Against Germany, I thought she was kind of quiet, didn't really do much. Thought this game she was much better at controlling the play. Crystal Dunn was kind of there. I mean, she didn't really make any mistakes, but had a few moments, but not. A lot of people were praising her performance. Or putting her on the top over someone like Sam Lewis. I'm like, were we watching the same game? Because she had good moments, but was kind of overshadowed a bit by Lavelle, by Mewis, and by Mallory Pugh, who, even though I think she held onto the ball a little bit too long at times, was really doing a lot to help jumpstart the attack. And the three back, the Sauerbrunn, Johnson, Krieger, I thought did very well. England pressured the U.S. a lot more than Germany did, and I thought they did a really good job of keeping that pressure at bay. England did get some opportunities, but the ones they did get were mostly being dealt with either by the back line or by Ashlyn Harris, so no complaints on that end. Two players who deserve to get slaps on the wrist for playing poorly. Alex Morgan, was she even on the field? I don't know, because she was basically only showing up when she was fouled. And Carly Lloyd, I mean, we didn't get to do a Germany show, so I didn't get to rip on her then, but man, she has been bad these last two games.
Right.
Oh, it kind of reminded me of last year's SheBelieves when she wasn't playing very well. It just looked bad. It's certainly not the caliber of performance that we have come to expect from her over the last few years. It was quite frankly disappointing, and I kind of wish she had been pulled at halftime, because I thought she was hurting the team, in all honesty. The biggest issue I have for the entire game is the finishing. So many good opportunities.
No, the finishing was major issue.
And would end with a shot going over the bar. Nobody could finish worth anything. And this wasn't them forcing Chamberlain into making great saves. He had a couple really good saves, but most of the shots were just going well off target. The finishing was atrocious, and and it was the same in the Germany game as well.
Yeah,
it's not clicking, and it's something that needs to be improved on.
Yeah, just in this one alone, it was 14 shots, just 2 on goal. So right there, it shows we were just.
Those numbers are those efficiency numbers are terrible.
Yeah,
you should not be putting 80% of your shots off target. You should be I would say closer to 50% on target. Off target is probably what a normal performance would be. So that was very disappointing. But as far as overall play in the first half, I actually thought they played much better than they did against Germany. Wing play was good. You got Pugh and Dunn doing their things on the outside. Like I said, I thought Mewis had a much better half. Really controlling the play. Lindsay Horan kind of for me, but she didn't do anything to actively hurt the team. So even though they didn't score, I was actually very pleased with the first half. And for both teams, England played really well too.
Yeah, they did.
They had some good looks on their own that probably would have gone in if not for a slowdown from the back line or a stop from Ashlyn Harris. So, it was a great performance, overall team performance from both teams, and it was a lot better to watch than the Germany game was, which was just a slow mess.
Yeah, and with Mewis just picking her out, I think the more comfortable she gets, the more like being able to control the play and just speed of the game at international level. She'll be a one that, like you said, you won't see her subbed out much, but I can understand it even in this game. But still, like I really impressed how she played this game over last. So, but second half, it's funny. This is the question I have for you. I'm not even going to say much about the second half, Jen. I'm going to say, what were your thoughts on Ashlyn Harrison? I guess we could say the second half, because everyone was talking about that goal more than anything else that happened.
Okay. I have made it very clear that in a choice between Alyssa Nair and Ashlyn Harris, I prefer Alyssa Nair. In my opinion, she does the little things that make her job easier. She does those better than Ashlyn Harris. Things like distribution. If you watch Ashlyn kicks, throws, it's kind of a crapshoot whether or not they're going to get to their target. Alyssa, she can put 30, 50-yard kicks on a dime and absolutely just nail her target. I think her distribution is probably the best we've ever seen from any U.S. keeper ever, and that's including Hope Solo, who could be hit or miss with her distribution. So there's that. It's just these little things that, say if I were to choose, I would want Alyssa Nair to be the starting goalkeeper. That is not a knock on Ashlyn in any way, shape, or form. I just think that from that level, I think Alyssa is better. Having said that, I do not like all of the Ashlyn Harris is the sole reason we let in that goal nonsense that I've been reading on social media and other sites. Dealing with the talking about this game, because if you go back and watch that goal, there were so many screw-ups from so many players. There was Kristen Press with the bad turnover that led to that opportunity. There was Becky Sauerbrunn not properly marking Ellen White, who was the goal scorer. There was Morgan Bryan and Julie Johnston colliding into each other and not clearing that loose ball that White pounced on.
Right.
And then there was Ashlyn Harris kind of just lying there, in all honesty, and not really making too much of an effort to save it. While she was not totally blameless for the goal, to put all of the blame on her and not ignore the other mistakes that led up to this, where if you even cut out one of those, if you cut out Press with that turnover, England doesn't score. If Sauerbrunn had gotten to that covered White better, England doesn't score. If Bryan and Johnston don't have that collision and one of them and better communication and one of the clears ball out, England doesn't score. If Harris makes more of an effort to stop that shot, England doesn't score. There's not one person you can point at as the sole reason for the goal. It was a mess up by a lot of players that led to that. So for everybody pointing the finger direct just at Ashlyn, cut it out. It's a team sport. You win as a team, you lose as a team. So that's been the big thing. It was a lot of errors from a lot of different people. It's a friendly, guys. These things happen. It's not the end of the world if the U.S. loses. It's a game they probably could have won. They didn't. We break it down, but it's not the freaking apocalypse. Calm down.
And Jen, do you feel like in the second half, a lot of those substitutions really broke up the flow of the game?
Yes, I definitely do think substitutions were an issue. It wasn't so much the people coming in, although, again, there was a certain subs player coming in that I don't think should be on the field at all. I'm not naming any names. Ali Wong. My issue so much wasn't Long coming in. It was the fact that she came in for Mewis, who was one of the better players on the field yesterday. And that was probably the biggest head scratch. I'm like, why? I mean, I get that you want to see her play, but why? It's indefensible. And this has been probably my biggest issue with Jill Ellis is no matter what the game, she always has her predetermined subs who she wants to see go in and go out at specific times. And sometimes you need to adjust your subbing patterns depending on how the game is going. I get that she wants to see players play, but there comes a certain point where if you're just making wholesale subs, all it's going to do is throw things off. And in the conditions that they were under yesterday, I mean, they said it was what? By the time the game ended, it was maybe close to 10 degrees outside, which is not ideal for a soccer game. So it's not really surprising that few of the subs they made had no impact except maybe to make things worse. Because I think England were probably the better team once she made all those changes. So it was just a loss on an avoidable goal. The team kind of became a mess because Ellis wanted to make a bunch of changes. Oh, that game was just such a mess. And some players stayed in for too long that should have come out. I mean, I thought both Morgan and Lloyd should have come out at halftime because Morgan was invisible and Lloyd was just being a gigantic screw up. So that was probably the biggest issue. And yeah, England. I mean, huge credit to Ellen White for being in the right place at the right time. Not to take anything away. That was a nice goal. You know, she got to the ball, she put it in, she did her job. I kind of thought when I saw it live that maybe she had skied it way over because of how high she shot. But then I watched that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no, that went in. So you know, credit to her, credit to England for getting the win. You know, I wouldn't say they didn't deserve to win because it was a fairly even match for most of it. So, you know, hats off to them.
Right.
And hopefully the team can take this and learn from it and get ready for France. So, I mean, second half second half was a lot like the first, except in the second half we made a stupid mistake to let in a goal. So kudos to you, England. Well earned. I hope you don't win against Germany. So, and that's personal. I just want the U.S. to lift that stupid looking trophy because I like the trophy. So that's the only reason I'm rooting for you to draw against Germany. So.
And now, Jen, I was going to ask you your thoughts going forward with France. Like I said, looking forward, hopefully we can put up a good performance. What do you think, like even starting 11 and just how we'll perform wise after this performance?
Who do I want to see against France? I don't want to see Alex Morgan starting. I think because she's had some ankle issues, had some illness issues. I don't think she's ready to be a starter. I think we might be better off seeing that combination of Preston Williams up top, like we saw against Germany, because they have played together quite a bit in the last few games and have had some really good moments together. I'd like to see that again, see if they can bring that back. Shocking as it may seem, I'd also like to not see Carly Lloyd start this game. I'd kind of like to see Lavelle being put in that spot and see what she can do with more time as a number 10, because you know she was great on the wing, even though it's not really her natural position. Maybe not quite as effective as that number 10, but I'd like to see her get in there against France and see what she can do there. I'd like to not see Ali Long start against France, even though I know she's probably going to, because I think with her as a center back and a 3-back against France, who, while they do have finishing issues that haven't been completely solved, I think that might be kind of asking for trouble. So
yeah, I agree with that.
I'd like to see a back three of maybe Sauerbrunn, Short as the left back, and Krieger as the right back. If that's the way to go, because I'm sorry, I just don't like Becky Sauerbrunn on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I like her as that focal point of the defense because she's just not fast.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love Becky Sauerbrunn, she's just not fast, and you need players with a bit more speed playing those two outside back positions, since they don't really go forward as much as as Ellis would wanted to do under a 4-back. So move her back to the middle, put Short on the left, Krieger on the right, where, that's her natural position, since for some strange reason Ellis decided to play her at left back, which Jill Ellis logic. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have any other things. I just hope whatever it is, Ellis can figure it out, and hopefully we get a win against France in a good performance. I'm not terribly optimistic, but I can only hope. And put Alyssa Nair back in goal. Please chill.
And what's your score? What score do you got?
I'm going to go 1-0 US.
Okay.
I don't think we'll light it up, but I think the players are going to be mad about that result. They don't like to lose, and I think they're going to bring it against France. So 1-0 US.
No, I was leaning 1-0, especially in DC. It's just something about the area, and I think they're all going to be pumped up. They're not going to lose back-to-back games like that. So, yeah, 1-0. I think that's the way to go. I say it even though I'm kind of scared too.
And hopefully it's not as cold in DC as it was in Jersey.
Oh, I know. Geez, but you never know. Oof. That was rough. And I remember now this one's for you and Karen, actually. Just wanting to talk about France and Germany. Sadly, Karen couldn't make it.
Yes, that was part of the technical issues that we were dealing with that delayed the start of our show. I only actually got to see the second half because I was working during the first half. From what I read, France were probably the better team in the first half, although Germany got a penalty that they shockingly had saved. That's not something you read every day. A German has a penalty saved. Even the one that they missed in the World Cup was a miss. It wasn't a save. So I did get to go back watch it later. It wasn't a great hit penalty. Wasn't like a superhuman save from Buhadi, but she still saved a German penalty. How many keepers can say that? Not many. So
not many at all.
But in the second half, it looked to me like Germany had the better of the opportunities. Mandy Hislacker just couldn't finish worth anything yesterday. She had a number of looks and just put everything wide. Oh, it would have been so frustrating if you were a German fan just to watch her keep getting the ball and just putting it wide. So yeah, it was. I think on balance, maybe a draw for that game was a fair result.
Mm-hmm.
It was just neither team could find the breakthrough, and I think both. The two keepers for Germany, because they split time. Schultz played the first half, then Parth the second. No, they did their job. Buhadi wasn't Buhadi for once, because you can easily count on her to make one gigantic screw up. I think she might have had one, but got saved by a crossbar or a clearance off the line. But
but it's usually one, yeah.
But I think other than that, she actually did a pretty good job. Just neither team could finish, and I think considering again how cold it was, not too many complaints. 0-0 draw, fair result. So yeah, don't really wish I had more to say on that, but it was just kind of. It was a little bit more exciting than the games they played in the opener, but it is what it is. Sounds
good. Other than that, I know that we will, guys, be back on.
Hold on. We were going to talk about the thing that U.S. Soccer put out yesterday.
The thing. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Go on now, Jen. Yeah. I forgot all about the.
Okay, so in case anybody was living under a rock yesterday or intentionally staying off the internet, it was announced that last month U.S. Soccer had apparently it was past a month ago. I've heard different stories, U.S. Soccer had made an amendment to its bylaws or whatever that basically state that that during the national anthems, all players and personnel must stand. This is clearly a decision made based on what Megan Rapinoe was started doing after the Olympics by her kneeling during the national anthem. Okay, first of all, U.S. Soccer, can we talk about the timing? If you had this ready to go a month ago, why would you release it on the day when you're honoring one of your all-time great players and you have your women's team playing? Can we talk about timing? Because that was some absolutely atrocious timing at that. So that's strike number one. Strike number two, this statement is bullshit. You should not, under any circumstances, force a player to honor an anthem, basically throw their personal feelings away. If they feel like they need to kneel for the anthem, then let them do that. Don't worry about the optics or who's going to get pissed off or whatnot. If anything, that's going to make you look better because you look like you're accepting of free speech. Now, I know that the Federation is a private entity, that they're not bound by the same free speech laws that a public entity is. It's just why they felt they had to do this now and not make mealy-mouthed statements when she first started doing it. Why it wasn't added then? It's so infuriating. I mean, I wish I could speak on this. I think Karen probably would have spoken more eloquently. Basically, what I'm just going to say is that U.S. Soccer, you effed up. This was a major PR blunder that you probably couldn't afford at this time. I think, I'm just so mad at this. I can't speak. It was just a massive blunder on so many levels, and I think they're gonna get nailed for it. I mean,
yeah.
It's so frustrating. I'm just so mad at a lot of things. The fact that they did this in the first place, the timing of it, everything. It was just, but typical U.S. soccer fuckery. They screwed up. So I think it'll be interesting, though, to see what the fallout from this is going to be. Does this mean the end of Megan Rapinoe's international career? Who knows? It's probably going to be something we're going to have to watch. So, fuck off U.S. soccer for pulling that, but we'll just see how it goes. It was just a mess, and they shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, no, that's funny that you bring up just the timing in general. You think they would have waited a little bit, but we'll see. I think the story will lead to a little bit more the new Pino rules, as they will be now called, I guess, Jen, right?
Yep. NFL has the Rooney Rule. The U.S. Soccer Federation has the Rapinoe Rule.
All right, perfect. Well, that was good. Yeah, Karen to get a chance to probably do an OP or something and talk about it, because I know she probably wants to really hammer home on that topic. But as I was about to say, on the 9th, yeah, guys, get ready for another show. We should be back in Jen, and I don't know, 9th, yeah, 9th for sure, and then 11th for sure I have on there. So, guys, you have to look out. We'll see how this tournament wraps up more so than anything else. Maybe we'll get more random 1-0 surprises, or we'll get like a 3-4, 3-5. I think I'd like that. Yeah.
Or a team getting the bricks beat off of them, as you like to say.
Yeah, I am waiting for a team to get the bricks beat off of them, so we'll see what that comes to pass. But other than that, guys, it was another episode of Off the Post with a lot of technical difficulties. I'm DJ Redcap with Jen Hellcat. We will see you guys soon. Now, where's that stop button? It's right there, all the waving and the stop button. There it goes. Stop. It's not stopping.